holy and righteousness exactly the same?
No.
Okay.
So righteousness is basically just says we are in right standing with God.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, if we died right now, we would go to his presence. That means we are righteous. This is something that's been progressive. It all depends on the level of revelation that God has given to us. That's what counts us as righteous. Right now, it's our righteousness is through knowing Jesus and accepting his sacrifice. Well, in the Old Testament, they didn't have that. All they had was the law. So they had to walk through the law and do the best they could with the law in order to make them right standing with God.
Right. Okay.
But holiness is the purity behind it.
Okay. So holiness is the choosing to begin to separate from what's unholy.
Yes.
And that is our moment by moment, day by day, breath by breath, choosing to say, no, I got to separate from that.
Exactly.
I've got to separate from that. I've got to separate from that. And that's what God calls us to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And the hardest thing to do is to separate to nothing.
To separate to nothing.
Say,
right? I'm separating from that.
I'm not going to do this.
But.
And then it leaves this void.
Yeah, like what?
So what do you do now? It's not what you separate from, it's what you separate to. And so it's the replacement. Everything with God has got a replacement. It's like, okay, no, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this. This is going to be a better thing for what the Lord has for me to do. And so oftentimes we're taught in the negative is don't do this, don't touch that, don't look at this. But that just leaves a vacuum.
Yeah, you know, I had a long time ago when I was first thinking about trying to change how I ate. Somebody said, don't focus on what not to eat. They were going from a scriptural, biblical sowing point of view. They said, don't focus on what not to eat. Focus on what you're going to sow into your body today that's healthy. And just begin, okay, I'm going to sow an apple a day. I'm going to sow this next week and add this. And pretty soon, because you're sowing healthy things and you're filling up with that, then you have less room for this other things. And it's a mind shift. You're shifting onto what is good and holy instead of don't do that, don't do that, don't do that. Because the more we think of what we shouldn't do, the more our mind is set on it, the more you want to do it.
Which is exactly why the law failed.
Exactly why it failed.
Because it said, here, don't do all these things. Okay, I'm focusing on not doing them.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on what I should be doing. Which Jesus came and then he gave us the focus. So now we have the focus of what we should be on.
Yeah, Jesus.